Ladies and gentlemen, we are down to 3 undefeated teams in the NFL. The Rams, the Chiefs, and the Dolphins? Well, congratulations, Anthony. Anyway, we also have 3 undefeated teams in our league as well. That is, of course, yours truly, Tracy, and Reichel, or as we call it, Club 3-0. So, Club 3-0, let's raise a toast to being undefeated. But on the other side of the coin, we also have 2 winless teams still as well, the soon-to-be married Asher and Steven. However, I predict that one of them will get a win this week. Oh, yes. Well, okay, fine. I guess I know because they face each other this week in the Toilet Bowl, where the winner of that game will have a chance to come back, and the loser, well, you get the picture. But enough of that crap. Here is your Rip City Fantasy Football League Week 3 recap. And speaking of Club 3-0, it was Broken Helmet Touch who defeated, I'm not even flexing, 162.1 to 136.38 thanks to continued studly play from Deshaun Watson and Mike Evans. But this week it was Robert Woods of the Rams wide receiver trio that I call the Three Remigos. Brandon Cooks, Cooper Kupp, and of course my compadre, Robert Woods, with his offensive fiesta of 10 receptions for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns, adding in 13 yards rushing with a total of 28.7 fantasy points.
Ay, caramba!
That helped me get the win over Chris, keeping my perfect 3-0 record intact in second place, and moving Chris down to 6th place at 1-2.
Dios mío!
Also in Club 3-0 is Team Hell Yes, who held on to a 147.66 to 128.64 win over Born for This. And it was all thanks to her main man, Matty Ice, who was ice cold this week, putting fools on ice. Seriously, the defense was frozen watching Matt Ryan chill with 374 passing yards, 5 passing touchdowns, including a big one for the bonus, tacking on 12 rushing yards and a 2-point conversion. He was a cold-blooded killer out there, putting up 46.16 fantasy points to help Tracy put Steven's team on ice. All of these cold puns are making me feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he played Mr. Freeze.
All right, everyone, chill.
It's a cold town. Cool party. Tonight's forecast. A freeze is coming. Allow me to break the ice. You are not sending me to the cooler. Let's kick some ice. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Okay, I've had just about enough of that. Tracy stays undefeated in first place at 3-0. Steven remains in 11th at 0-3. Hang in there, Steven. That first win might be coming this week, just like Matt's first win came this last week, as he beat Los Lobos 123.92 to 95.84 to pick up his first win. Adrian Peterson was your biggest contributor, but he beats his son, so fuck that guy. Let's instead talk about Carlos Hyde, who had everywhere to run to, baby, and no need to hide, as the Jets' defense seemed to be hidden this week. Must have been playing hide and seek, because they sure couldn't seek Hyde, who put up 23.3 fantasy points off of 98 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, plus 2 receptions for 5 yards. Matt goes up to 7th place at 1-2, and Anthony goes down to 9th place, also at 1-2. Then we have Tecmo Stan getting his big win over Ball Fondlers, 165.34 to 134.2. Mike Williams was a major contributor there, but Drew Brees, showing that he's still got it, getting into a shootout with Matt Ryan blasting 40.54 fantasy points on the scoreboard via 396 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and 7 rush yards, netting 2 more touchdowns in the process with his legs. Hey, he's got plenty of ammo and prefers the shotgun these days, so this old gunslinger might keep the massacre going. Stan has the playoffs targeted in his sight, taking 4th place at 2-1. Casey gets gunned down to 8th place at 1-2. And the champ, Aaron's Bitch, picks up another win despite a low-scoring week, 110.6 to 79.8 over Sutang Clan. Her main squeeze, Aaron Rodgers, led her team to victory despite losing to the Washington team himself. Hey, sorry to rub salt on the wound. But hey, you got the win this week, so that's something, right? Plus, Aaron shows that he can still put up good stats on a bad leg, with 265 passing yards, 2 touchdowns including 1 for the bonus, and 13 yards rushing. He really is an Iron Man, with chrome-plated balls, a titanium arm, and showing his medal this week, helping Sakina move to 5th place at 2-0. Asher remains winless at 0-3. Speaking of pouring salt on the wound, sorry. No squeakers this week, so let's go straight to the blowout of the week. Back to the Future of the exclusive and chic Club 3-0 won big over Relax, 132.66 to 91.66, a 41-point margin of victory thanks in part to Pat Mahomes, who you finally started this week. And you'll be starting him every week since Jimmy G went down for the season. His 314 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and 7 yards rushing added up to 25.26 fantasy points for your squad, helping you stay undefeated in 3rd place at 3-0. And moving Vinny down to 10th place at 1-2. So with another week of recaps in the books, we now turn our attention to the segment that critics acclaim as absolutely watchable. Oh yeah, you guessed it. We now take the time to salute the players on your pine, piling up fantasy points you'd rather have in your starting lineup in a segment we like to call On Your Bench! But before we do that, let's do a little bit of a follow-up on last week's Fantasy Football Man-to-Man. Hey, Casey, you started Deshaun Jackson this week. Wait a sec. What did I say would happen if you did so? So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, so you may as well just leave Jackson on your bench! Or don't. I mean, you can start him if you want and have the heartbreak of having 5 or less fantasy points from him. Your call, buddy. And here's the result. A big fat I told you so. So we keep the dunce cap on you for now, my friend. And seriously, you may as well leave D-Jax on your bench! Told you so. Now let's go to the game between Matt and Anthony. Matt, you left some points on your pine, but they were kind of fluky, like no one's going to start Eli Manning over TB12, so I'll give you the pass this time. But A-Train, you could have had the win this week with only 2 moves. You should have started Bilal Powell over Peyton Barber, but what would have helped most was if you started Jakeem the Dream Grant. So let me get this straight. You have the wherewithal to pick up the Finns wide receiver off the waiver, but instead of starting him at home against a weak Raiders D, you started D.D. Westbrook in a clear defensive showdown? What were you thinking, man? Hey, I know I give a lot of guff to people being homers, but it would have worked out in your favor this week, because instead of granting yourself the 27 points from Jakeem the Dream, you had to endure the nightmare of watching the Dolphins wide receiver pack on the points on your bench. So I made up a nickname for the guy, so sue me. Just watch it catch on. Hey, moving right along. Hey, Vinman, you went down in the blowout of the week this week, but you would have had a much better showing if you had started Seattle's D, or better yet, Jordy. No, not that Jordy, but Raiders wide receiver Jordy Nelson. He might not be part of the next generation of receivers, but this veteran pass catcher still has some fuel left in his ship, and he proved that by putting up 26.3 fantasy points against the Dolphins. You'd have to be blind not to see that he still has game. Ooh, low blow. Sorry about that. Jordy could have engineered a better week for your fleet. Too bad he was kept in the brig. On your bench! Hopefully now you see the light. Okay, sorry. Let's just move on. Finally, the lowest scoring matchup this past week also produced the most points on the Pine. Sakina, you could have had the blowout had you made any multitude of moves, but left Johnson and Howard and Crowell out of your lineup, as well as leaving Galladay's points for dead.
Oh my god! You killed Kenny! You bastard!
But most of that was unpredictable and you got the win, so I'll let it slide this week. Asher, on the other hand, is our on your bench all-star of the week with 106 fantasy points on her Pine. Could have gotten the win had she started Miller in the Broncos D and didn't watch Allison's big day go Geronimo! Off of your starting lineup. But Asher, riddle me this. Who is your top scoring wide receiver through 3 weeks?
The Joker.
No, it's the Riddler, Calvin Ridley.
I am the Prince of Puzzlers, the Count of Conundrums, the King of Crime. I hold court here, no one else!
So the big question is, why isn't he in your starting lineup?
If you expect to get anywhere in this arch-criminal game, you can't be soft.
His presence on your Pine has me perplexed, as his play of late deserves attention. He's a first-round talent, so it's no enigma.
Genius. Sheer genius.
That he's becoming Matt Ryan's go-to guy.
Hear me, world! Nothing can stop me now!
How can you get a win, Asher? That puzzle is easy to solve. Just start Calvin Ridley instead of mysteriously leaving the Riddler on your bench. How do I come up with this stuff?
All adds up to a sinister riddle. Riddler. Riddler?
Yeah, pretty much. Alright, well there you go. That's it this week. Thanks once again for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And thank you so much for all your comments and praise. It helps me to know that these videos actually mean something and that people are actually watching them. So that they're worth the effort. So thank you for that. Yeah, got another big week coming. Week 4, here we go. We're already like a quarter of the way through the season. Wow. So, yeah, don't forget to set your lineups. Check the waivers for some free agents. Make trades if you need. Good luck to everybody. Let's see, anything else? Oh, yeah, that's right. My buddy, my homie, Reichel. You're up this week, my friend. And don't think I'm going to go easy on you. That's right. Your Smack Talk video's coming soon, so stay tuned.